Hello everyone, welcome to another out of spec guide video. I'm Max. You joined me today in Edwards, Colorado. What am I doing on I-70? Well, I from time to time like to go on Facebook Marketplace and buy things I shouldn't buy. So I get a great deal on a gravel bike that I'm going to get my girlfriend, and it seems exciting, but I'm making a relevant video for you guys because I know a lot of you like to transport bikes and things, whether you're a viewer in Colorado or Utah or just adventurous anywhere. I mean, it's one of the great things of any car, right? You can just rack things onto it and mount them or put them inside. So I want to make this video to compare efficiency between two different methods of carrying a load like a bike. So we've got the bike here. Let me see if the lift gate works. I think it'll open with enough clearance. I'm charging here, of course, to make sure I have enough range to do this efficiency test. So we've got awesome bike. I got like steel for this one, really awesome, unridden. Someone just needed to get rid of it, so I swooped in. But anyhow, it's a 50 centimeter gravel bike, and if you're curious, a car like the Polestar 2 can just barely fit it inside with the front wheel still on. Of course, you could fit in many cars, including a Model 3, most road bikes, mountain bikes, if you took the front wheel off, which you should do. But anyhow, this isn't a bike video, this is the comparison video. So we're gonna do two runs today. One where I have the bike in the car like this, and we're gonna call this the control test because it essentially is similar to not having a load at all. If you can, don't have the need for rear seat passengers, or you have a large enough electric car to fit your load inside, that could be advantageous, I think, because it's more efficient. You don't have any aerodynamic drag that you're adding on the outside. Then what I've got under the bike, you might notice, is the OEM Polestar load bars, along with a simple fork-based bike mount to go on those load bars. So I'm gonna mount the bike in the second run on top of the car with the load bars and see with all that kind of load what the efficiency difference is. So for this test, we're not really looking at absolute numbers unless you're just shopping for a specific dual motor Polestar 2, in which case hopefully it's helpful. I want to relatively look at the differences of what the efficiency is between these two situations, because hopefully that'll translate to lots of other cars as well, roughly. So let's see how much less efficient is it to carry your bike or a similar load on the outside of the car versus inside. Let's have some fun. Looking forward to testing, and see you in the next clip. Okay, while I'm charging, let's go over test procedure. So what I've devised is, like all of our range and efficiency test, a loop style test. Loops are good because basically these allow us to normalize for wind and elevation and other conditions. So just to not waste all my time today, I'm going to do a 30-mile loop roughly. And so basic between 25 to 30 miles. I'm in Edwards, Colorado. I'm going to go to Vail and back as a loop for each run. And I chose that distance because, one, it's doable with my time today. I do have to get back to Denver today, to Boulder actually, which is even farther. And it's also significant enough and high speed enough to, I think, show the aerodynamic results of both solutions. Now, do note, these might vary over longer distances. I'd love to, with more time, do this test with even further distances, be more aggressive in that way. But to be honest, I just don't have that kind of time today. However, if this video interests you, if you like what you see with the difference, because I'm excited to see what the difference is between having a bike inside versus outside on the roof, do let me know. We can do more comparisons. I know many of you like the trunk or hitch mount bikes. I don't like that as much in electric cars because, particularly for bikes with, let's say, very filled in wheels, sometimes like racy road bikes do that for aerodynamic reasons of their own. Those are good when you're riding the bike going forward. However, if they're sideways on your car with headwinds, I think that can actually be the least efficient solution. And in my car, Polestar 2, installing a hitch is really quite expensive. It's like $3,000 to get the electronic hitch installed. I don't have that option. However, if we get to test another car that has a hitch, it's absolutely something I want to explore, because I know many of you like to tow loads that way as well. So all kinds of load carrier and different kinds of cargo tests, I think, to come in the future. This is just an appetizer. I just want to see how interested you guys are in this kind of content, because we're in Colorado. Lots of people are outdoorsy. Nationwide, worldwide, people are outdoorsy. As electric vehicle lovers, I know we love getting into nature, so I figure it's a relevant test. But please do give me feedback on this video. But I'm hoping, in terms of the overall procedure, that this should be a, like I said, good enough loop for doing it. I know I rambled on and on, so I'll join you in the next clip as I'm actually on my way. I'm going to, of course, start a manual trip reading and then read out the efficiency from the car. I'm going to try my best to basically go at least 70 miles an hour and normalize that speed across both runs using one possible adaptive cruise control and staying in the lane that allows me to keep speed so that both runs are as comparable as possible. Luckily, we have gorgeous weather out today. It's not too windy, so conditions are pretty good. Okay, I'm merging and I'm about to start the trip odometer here for both runs. Keep distance as completely, precise as possible. I'm right about this yellow sign. Let's do it. Click again. I've reset manual trip meter. So we're going. I'm going to accelerate to 70, stay in the right lane, try my best to keep speed, and keep safe. So I'm not going to film with you guys the whole time because I do like to drive safely. Okay, I'm getting to the turnaround point here. Filming on the GoPro just to be more hands-free and safe because this is my first time doing a turnaround point. I'm going to see how it does. I'll try to maintain speed as best as I can, but also stay safe because, of course, we've got to keep the average speed going for this whole run. So, turn pilot assist off, just about to take exit 176 towards Vale Center, just so I can be fully transparent. And I'm just filming now to document for myself and for you guys where exactly I'm turning around so we know how to replicate this loop exactly. So I'm off, coming off exit 176. I think we just need to go under the highway and then back on to get back westbound. We were going eastbound, back westbound towards Edwards. So maintaining speed best I can, but I have to slow down for this roundabout here, traffic circle, yielding. I'm doing this on a weekday, so this is about the best traffic ever gets, just so you know, because it's not a weekend with hikers and skiers. Skiing season just finished. But we still have traffic, so this is the real world. I'm doing my best to make both runs identical. We're getting the average speed back up. On our way to Edwards, I've deliberately in the route navigation just set myself to Edwards. I didn't miss the exit. It's 163 on the way back. That's just, for me, I'm dumb. But I didn't deliberately choose the exact spot we started, which is the charger, because that's not where we started the trip meter, and also it's because, I don't want the battery to precondition. Temperature is normal right now, but I have no idea if it will do anything fancy, so I want to keep all variables the same here. The only thing, hopefully consuming energy appreciably, is our driving. Climate and everything is all, by the way, the same in both of these runs. I'm normalizing everything as best I can. So we get 10 miles on the way back. I'll update you guys with a final efficiency metric and the finish point on the loop coming back. Okay, this is the exit. This is about, I think, as good as we're going to get. Let's call it at this yellow roundabout sign, average 70 miles an hour, and I will freeze frame now. So, looks like that final figure is right about 34 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. All right, nerds, I've crunched the numbers. So that figure for the first run, the control run, again, with the bike in the car, basically indistinguishable from the bike not being in the car. It doesn't weigh that much, and weight doesn't play that big of a role on rolling resistance. So big variable here is aerodynamics. We're next going to put the load bars on, compare it with that, because I expect to be lower. But, right, we got 34 kilowatt hours for 100 mile average efficiency on that, 70 mile an hour average, about 28 mile loop. That equates to 2.94 miles a kilowatt hour. Why do I like that figure? Well, I know that this Polestar 2, just my vehicle for instance, has a 75 kilowatt hour usable battery. So assuming I can use all of that, it's 78 gross, but 75 of which the user can actually use for safety. 75 times 2.94 comes out to 220 and a half highway miles. Efficiency is important because, right, we're talking about range here with electric vehicles. This applies to gas cars too, but with electric vehicles having such an absolutely small amount of energy, they really have to be efficient wherever they can. So that's why I'm doing this test for you guys today. I think it's important to compare these efficiency metrics. It's not just nerdy, it actually is important. So 220 and a half miles of range, that's fine. I mean, I'm averaging high speeds. This isn't the most efficient car. Don't worry about the absolute number too much. Where this video is going to get interesting is when we see how much that range figure goes down with the bike on the roof, as you might have to when you have more passengers and maybe it just looks cooler. I love the look of the bike on the roof, but of course it comes with compromises. Less range, and I'm sure we'll hear more wind noise in the car. So I'll comment on that. But in the meantime, let me throw you guys on a time lapse of me setting up these load bars, the bike mount, and getting the bike on the roof. Okay, this is awkward. Roof bars are on. I'm going to get this roof rack on. This bike, I forgot, didn't have, mine has a through axle. I can just easily unscrew it. This is a hex tool. It's annoying. Didn't bring my hex tools with me. I might have to run to a hardware store. I'll be right back. Not sponsored. I'm going to the Kind Bike and Ski Shop. Thank goodness there's a bike shop open nearby. I guess I could go to a generic hardware store, but I might as well get my girlfriend a multi-tool or something as well. Just goes to show you guys, never be caught without your multi-tool. I literally have 2 at home, forget to bring them. Figured this bike would just be a hand twist, but you know, just with anything in life, bring the tools, even if you don't think you'll need them. Lesson learned. Okay, just went there, got a multi-tool. We got everything situated. Sorry, couldn't time lapse that I'm only one person. But bike is mounted basically down the center of the roof. One bike. Let's see what kind of drag impact this has. Going the same speeds. Unfortunately, it might be getting a little windier. I'm doing best I can with time. Conditions are still good, generally weather-wise, sunny, nice ambient temperatures. It's not too windy, just a little bit breezy where I am here in Edwards. But I don't know, maybe it was like that before. But let's see how much less efficient this method is than having the bike in the car. Bike looks good on the roof. I'm a little terrified. I think I mounted everything securely, so it shouldn't fly off. But Gosha's new bike looking really sick. 50 centimeter frame, so maybe these differences would be even larger with a larger frame, but let's see what they are to begin with. I'm gonna get exactly back to where I started the first loop and just repeat the process, this time with this guy. So let's do it. As we merge to speed, we're gonna again try to average 70 miles an hour. So click to reset trip computer. We're gonna click again to confirm exactly as about 50 miles an hour, and this sign right here, bam, we just reset the trip. Okay, we reset the trip then. I don't know why they had delay. I clicked the button. These steering wheel buttons are annoying to actuate sometimes. Good thing that didn't cause an accident, good God. A lot going on right now. Luckily, traffic has not gotten worse. Man, there's some whistle with these crossbars. I heard it even just with the crossbars before I put the bike on, but with the bike on, I'm sure it's even more. So let's get to speed, 70 miles an hour. Gonna average that same speed. And I will try to end the trip just a little bit later since we started slightly late, but doing the best I can. It's still like, I think, no more than like 200 feet of difference, but we just have to keep that same average speed. So let me get that up for you, drive safely, and I'll be back with you soon. Recording on the GoPro, so pardon the bad audio, but I'm intentionally doing it now because I want you to hear the ambient audio in the car. I hope you do. It is a lot windier than it was without the bike on top. That said, I do like having a back seat again. It's nice. Also, I just think, like, this is so superficial, but I think it just looks so cool when you get a lift back or, you know, or a station wagon. If you're lucky enough to have like a Porsche Taycan, bikes on the roof, it's just so Euro, so stylish, so cool. But that's me, that's just me. But anyhow, we've got the bikes on the roof, one bike on the roof, and yeah, so much wind noise from this bike. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. There are some trucks, so I'm actually having to go a little bit fast just to pass them because I don't want to be drafting this time. But I will make sure that average speed does not go above 70 miles an hour and that it stays by the end of this trip exactly at 70 miles an hour. Right now we're actually cruising a little higher, so I think I can slow it down as soon as I pass this truck on my right. So going well. Man, I do love roof racks, but they're loud, and that's something I just want to note. Aside from the efficiency losses, which we're about to find out, I mean, it's loud, and that's, you especially notice it in an EV where you don't have the noise of a combustion engine. I mean, previously all I would have heard was my music or tire noise, because the Polestar 2 is a quiet car, but not luxury quiet. And so I hear the tire noise now, but even louder, I just hear the wind. And Colorado, you know, it's a little windy here, but it's not even that windy today. I'll give exact conditions when I get back, but that is what it is. Never a dull moment in I-70, regardless of which direction you're heading, west or east. Just noticed someone's tire, which had exploded all over the road. So cool. Yeah, but I think it was a large front tire. Happens from time to time. Anyhow, wind noise, I dare say, might be louder coming this direction. I'm glad we do a loop style test for this reason, because we try to basically keep as many variables in check. By doing a loop, we try to normalize for wind during the 20 to 30 minutes that we're out driving. Luckily, these loops aren't too long, so that's not too much of a variable here. I just hope the distance is long enough. I think it is, but again, I don't have all the time in the world today. So far, the results are, seriously, I'm not just like teasing this, like they actually are appreciable so far, but I can't wait to share with you the exact ones. And we're just, yeah, we might be facing crosswinds. I don't know, because we heard the wind going both ways, and I think it's stronger now, but I can't tell. A lot of people get these, like the Polestar bars I have, they're OE, but they're really made by Thule, or Thule, I don't know how you pronounce it, but you know, the Swedish company that makes those famous load bars and all kinds of carriers for kayaks, bikes, whatnot. Love their equipment, always loved it. They're not a sponsor, but they should be. However, these are not the Aeroblades. Aeroblades are aftermarket Thule items you can get. They're really expensive, but God, they're cool. I mean, you can get them on a gas car or electric car, it doesn't matter. But they're supposed to be really quiet for gas cars, is what they're advertised as. And I bet they're really efficient on electric cars. So I'd be curious to see what that's like. And in future tests, I want to test what is it like just with load bars, not with a bike or something on the roof. Because a lot of people, once they install the load bars, for me, it's not too big of a pain for me to install them. I've gotten used to it in my Polestar. But depending on your car and your time, maybe you don't like to do that. Maybe you like to show off and have the load bars on year round. A lot of people in Colorado surely do. If you do, I think it'd be interesting to compare that efficiency to both our control run and having a significant load like this bike on the roof. However, I should also say, if you don't have a fork mount like me, you're going to have an even bigger impact than what we're going to see today, because you have the front wheel, you have a bulkier bike carrier. I'm suspecting that's just less aerodynamic in general. So if possible at all, I would really recommend these fork carriers. As long as you have space somewhere in your trunk for the front wheel of the bike, which isn't that intensive, you just get a much lower profile design. I think it's much better, especially in an EV where efficiency really matters and you have to milk it. So I think cannot harp on those enough. Those are really cool. So highly recommend those. Wish I had the Aero bars, but lots of people have these OE fuel bars, some variant of them. I know BMW, Toyota, Lexus, I mean, they all have some version of this. I think Hyundai electric ones too. Some OE bars are different. They're lower profile, like the Tesla ones. I'd like to test with those too, see if they make a difference. Maybe they're meant to be more aerodynamic. Maybe they're just cheaper. I don't know. I like these ones. They're like, I think, aluminum and plastic, but really well constructed. Typical Thule quality. Anyhow, enough of the Thule ad and me harping on and on. I know you want to see the results, so I'll join you next clip with the final results. We're about 7 miles from Edwards and average speed's looking good. Let's finish this up. Miles an hour. We're going to end the trip computer here, right about here. Those are the results. So looks like we got 37.1 kilowatt hours for 100 miles. Super interesting. Just ran the math. So everything you've been wanting to know, right? 37.1 with the bike on the roof. So that means, again, caveat that we got 1 mile an hour slower average speed. I was trying my best with traffic, but let's round down to help with that. That's 2.69 miles a kilowatt hour with my math, dividing 100 by 37.1. Again, very slightly rounding down, doing my best to account for that slight speed differential that I really tried my best to control for, but real world is the real world. So what does that mean in range? Assuming 75 kilowatt hour usable battery, just as an example here, this is a relative example, larger your battery, the bigger this difference might be because it's multiplied. I get 201 miles of highway range. That is 20 miles, basically even 20 miles less than I got with the bike in the car. So that's actually appreciable. I would say, that's what is that, like a 10% difference? Yeah, basically a realistic 10% difference. So super interesting. Honestly, not quite as bad as I thought, but maybe over longer trips, longer distances, differences are magnified. At the same time, maybe it's also normalized more because we have, of course, the acceleration of getting to highway speed. So if you're cruising, if your EV has enough range to cruise for 2 or 3 hours, maybe having that acceleration out of the way means that over time, the numbers get closer. I don't know. If you don't know what I'm banging on about, I'll stop rambling. But in the comments, please, fellow nerds, give your theories, because this stuff always fascinates me. Anyhow, super interesting test. I'm glad I did this. We'll definitely do more ambitious versions of this test in the future, but this is just kind of a aperitif for you guys to enjoy. Let me know what you thought, and see you in the next out of spec guide video.